Maribel Rodriguez, Senior Vice President, World Travel and Tourism Council, WTTC, Dünya, Seyahat ve Turizm Konseyi Kıdemli Başkan Yardımcısı Maribel Rodriguez. Kendisini heyecan ve merakla dinliyoruz. Buyurunuz.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. And first of all, thank you for inviting WTTC. Thank you for giving us the opportunity and happy century of your country. So we are WTTC, the World Travel and Tourism Council. For those that you don't know, we are representing the global travel and tourism private sector. It's a little bit like TTYD, but at a global level. And we represent not only hotels, but we represent the entire ecosystem. The reason why we exist is because already for 30 years is to quantify the economical impact that our sector has. We are not measuring the number of tourists, we are measuring how much they give to the economy. What is the GDP? So, and for already 30 years, we are working together, everyone in the value chain, for fair policies and economy of the sector, and for a long-term and sustainable growth. Here you have an example of our board. We are representing companies from the most disruptive to the most traditional, hotels, airlines, rent-a-car, GDS. This is an example of the board, and with them we work together to, to make sure that we have the right policies and we set up the global travel and tourism agenda. So when you see where we are spread out when it comes to sectors and geography, you can see that we cover the entire world. We are not focusing in one sector because we need to be together. We need to really understand what is the value that all our sector is giving and providing to our economy. That's why we have hotels, we have lodges, cruises, travel agencies, OTAs, and multiple providers of the sector like the technology companies, retailers. All of them are part of WTTC. I wanted to thank you pretty much, our Turkish members. It's very important that you have representation at the global scale. Your voice is there. So we are very delighted, so thank you so much to all our Turkish members, which I'm seeing some faces here like Erkan, Oya, of course, Eli from TGA, and Ian Bektas. So what do we do? So what we try to do is to give and explain the value of travel and tourism. And we want to amplify the voice, to be considered one of the top economies worldwide. For that, we create economic data. With this data, we can use it to make sure that the decisions that are taken when it comes to investment, when it comes to operating new countries, are there. We diversify the segments because for us it's really important that we work together internally. We are aligned, we have the same voice, and then of course in the competition we all work differently. But it's very important that we work, and it's very important that we understand the new trends, we adopt them, and we, for the future. It's no point to fight against things that are happening. We do advocacy, we do partnerships, and we do many things together. We support the growth of our sector. How? What means by growth? Growth means, we are going to be bigger and bigger, but we need to facilitate those trips, those travels. Visa facilitation. If we are not able to bring people from all around the globe, it's very difficult that we can diversify our pipeline. And when we'll be seeing the pictures and the numbers, you will see how important it is that we make sure that we target different segments. Technology, when you go to the airports and you have an amazing airport, you have one of the top worldwide, airports all around the globe where you can use biometric, when you can use, easy access, seamless travel, that is really important. Of course, we want to foster investment, but everything we do needs to be sustainable. We are promoting a sustainable future. And it's not only about the climate, it's as well about social impact. So we have been doing, many years already, 3 years of economic impact report. That is a picture from the past. 2019 when we were in the top moment of our sector, comparing with 2022. And even if in 2022 we were catching up, we were growing, we were still a little bit ahead or where we were in 2019 when every $1 expent, out of $10, one was in tourism, 1 out of 10 jobs, 10.4% of the global GDP was because travel and tourism. But looking ahead, and I'm talking about the world, I will tell you about Turkey in a minute, where we should be looking at. So, over the next 10 years, so 2023, we are going to be ended up, not still yet where we were in 2019, 5% below, and the reason why is because many countries like China, for example, they only opened up the doors 1 year ago, like not even 1 year ago. And they represent a big portion of the travel and tourism. Even the 15% of the retail expenditure is because of them. But if you look ahead, in 2033, we are going to go to up to $15.5 trillion. That is going to be the wealth of our sector. And we are going to have 430 million employment within our sector worldwide. And when you look at domestic versus international, the international growth is going to be very important, but watch out as well as the domestic, very important. So if you go and look to the GDP of the last few years, you see our sector was growing up to 2019. You see the drop because of COVID, of course, and now you see how we are going to be growing. And travel and tourism is going to be growing above the global economy, okay? So we were catching up. Last year we are catching up. We will establish, but we are going to be growing above the global economy. And the same for employment. We were employing a lot of people in 2019. There is a drop. And that is I have been listening to that many times. What is the difficulties now to recover all those jobs, all this talent? We can talk about that in a minute. So where those jobs that in the 2033 are going to be needed, where they are going to be located? If you see, almost 70% are going to be located in Asia. There's a top destination, top market. You need to look at that part of the world. And you are very well located. You are not only 5 hours from every trade transaction in the world, but as well amazingly located to be able to attract so many travelers. What happened in Europe and in Turkey? If you look back, 2022, and you were saying that before, Turkey was exploding, the numbers were up, Europe was going back to normal, okay? But again, Turkey was above the average in Europe, was great news. And when you look at the contribution, and that is the G20 countries, don't be worried about, 14. It's an amazing number because you need to compare with countries like United States, China. The GDP is very important when it comes to tourism, but when it comes to international, there are other countries which are ahead, like, of course, Spain, Italy, Turkey, ranking number 4, as you were saying before. But that is very important. We need to measure how we are in the GDP in the G20 countries. And if you see there, the domestic growth of Turkey was 33%, 32%, but the international, very important. That is where you have to look at. And if you look at the future, Europe, because Europe is very mature, is going to keep growing, but it's going to keep growing below the global economy when it comes to, below the world tourism travel growth. Is going to be 5%, how the tourism is going to be growing in the world, and the global economy 2.6. Europe is going to grow below the world because it's more mature, as you know, and other countries like China, India are is coming to play a role here, but it's going to be growing above the economy, which is good. And when it comes to Turkey, the growth is going to be consistent, but it's again going to be a little bit below your own economy. It is not bad. It's just because you are a mature country and you are going to be reaching by 2033, 130, almost $2 billion, 11.6% of the GDP is going to be because travel and tourism in your country. If you look at the trends, that is very important. what do we have to look? What sort of client? What type of new customer? We have been doing a study, and it's things that are very simple, and you probably know, but it's good to know when we are analyzing it. We need to influence the travelers through the new tools using social media, and that is going to be affecting the traveler's decision, new ways of approaching them. To return after the pandemic, we saw a lot of movements in adventure travel, and people willing to be going to the nature. Now they go back to the cities and they go back to the beaches, which is good because we have a lot of hotels there, but we need to keep diversifying. It would be great if we could continue having those new segments open. Now we have to talk about blended trips. You are going on business and then you go a little bit of leisure. Use that mix and stays become longer. You were talking today about the destationalization. Of course, you have to. You cannot concentrate all the tourism in one goal, in one summer. You need to use them all across the year. And for that, you need to create product. You need to create experience and work together so you have a consistent, income of tourism. The policies, still the flexibility very important, but the travel intention remains really, really strong. People really want to travel, and that is something we cannot forget. But let's look at the challenges. We have been analyzing in WTTC with all our members in the different regions what makes our members, the private sector, wake up at night. What are they worried? And we have some regional particularities, but we have a lot of commonalities. And let's look at some of them. For example, it's very important that the visas and the borders are seamless and they are facilitated. The connectivity, for example, here is really good, but when you look at to Asia, it's really bad because they are still not open. So we need to look at that. The personnel, the talent, the recruitment, the jobs, very important because we have lost a lot of people, we have lost a lot of jobs, and we need to maintain and retain and have the right talent. Geopolitical challenges are very important. As you know, we are very heavily hit when there is a big, incident or a conflict. You know that. And we have some markets, like, for example, Chinese market and American market, they have an aversion for crisis. They won't travel. So we need to have a proper narrative explaining what do we need to make people sure and secure. Infrastructure and investment, very important. Security and perception of security. If you are doing your job, please communicate that. There are people that are not traveling because of security. For example, not in the USA and places, Chinese travelers are worried about going, for example, to San Francisco. Things like that need to be taken into consideration. But the most important thing is competitiveness. Now, we are not only, fighting against each other. Turkey is not competing with the neighbors. Turkey is not probably competing with Spain, or not even with, I don't know, within Turkey, you are not competing within, the different regions. You are probably competing with Asia, probably with Latin America, because the decision is taken by the consumer, and the world is ready for them. They all know where to go. They can be moved because they have seen something in social, the cost, the price. That is truly, truly important, that there is a product, the product is communicated, and you need to adopt and understand that. Being competitive now is the most important thing we all know, and that is pretty much needed. And if you see, every company was highlighting that in our conversations. But something really important we cannot forget is we need to be really sustainable. That is a main worry of every consumer, every company, and every government. We need to have, a safe planet and a safe environment. And we have been doing a lot of research, happy to share with you. Up to 2019, we were growing, 8.1% is the impact of our sector. But now our sector wants to be not only, we want to be part of the solution. So, and the good news is that even if our sector is growing, the impact is decoupling. So there is not a relation between our sector growing and the emissions growing. It's decoupling. That is really good. It means that every company is doing their job. Of course, still not enough. Probably in some segments, yes, in other not. In aviation, it's very difficult because technology is not good enough. We have to work on SAF, sustainable aviation fuels, but there are good news on that. And we need to track it, measure, and see how we are progressing. And in Turkey, the good news is that you are exceeding world when it comes to using low carbon, energy. That is a really good news, and I encourage you to keep on doing, because this is a really a bad case and a bad practice. And I know, because I know and follow the government activities, I know they are doing a really good job when it comes to become more sustainable and spreading that. That's well done. Other thing we are analyzing is the social impact. Social impact is how we treat our people, how we treat, employees, how good we are. If we bring women to the economy and these women are working, they will raise their children, they will have a job, and they will be more prosperous. So we have to understand that is as well sustainability. And in Turkey, you are doing really well when it comes to youth. You are above world average, but it is still an opportunity to keep growing the number of women working in our sector. Okay, so we have created a program which is called Sustainability Basics, which we are more than welcome to support and helping you to really understand, which is here to support the efficiency of the companies, the planet, and the people. We have been joining many initiatives, and it's one of our activities for us to be able to explain you, okay, if you want to join our forces, we will be more than happy to give you the tools to be able to have these criteria of basics. We are doing a lot of research, more than happy to help and share with you. For us, it's very important. We just launched an investment report in Africa to know about the opportunities. We launched a report on staff shortages, sustainable aviation fuel, all things that we will really help you to take decisions and impact. I'm more than welcome for you as well to join all our activities. We work all around the globe. We go to many places. We try and talk to the private sector to try and see what is happening in every part of the corner. We talk to the governments. We explain to the governments what the needs of our sector are, how we can work together, and we are constantly spreading the message of the value of our sector out there. So more than welcome for you to join any of our events. We just came from Rwanda when we did an amazing global summit. We went to Africa, very important, a lot of potential there. Welcome you to go there. And, we are, all around the globe. Our next step is going to be in Australia. And I hope that very soon we can be here in Turkey with our members. I'm going to be working very close with Oya, our WTTC members, to make sure that you are becoming international. It's very important that the Turkish companies are getting out, because you are very powerful, and this power needs to be shown out there. And at the same time, welcoming international companies to come to your country, to invest, to share best practices, talent. Those things are really important and really good, and we are the platform to generate that. So thank you very much. Have a great event. Thank you, Oya. Thank you, WTTC members, and well done for your 100th anniversary. Thank you so much.